Hello! Here we are in Creatures 3 and Docking Station in the Norn Meso. I've called this world Remniova, and this is where we're going to be taking a look at that new world concept that I came up with different conditions and stipulations. Right now the world is paused, so don't freak out if the Norns aren't doing anything. I just wanted to show you right now, these are the 4 first-generation females that we'll be using. Down here, this is Lamna, the Harlequin Norn. She's indicated with the green feather, which is a little difficult to see through the lift right now. We also have Seon, the Magma Norn. She's kind of one of my favorites. She's very intelligent. She's been doing pretty good at exploring on her own and taking care of herself. And she's got the yellow bell above her head. We also have Oriana, who's located up here, our Bengal Norn, with the red squiggly or spiral above her head. And finally, down here is Novoria. She's our Siamese female. Now what we're going to be doing here is moving them over to a new meta room where the main group is going to be located. Again, these females have just reached youth status, so they're just about ready to breed. And we're going to be moving forward with that in a second. The meta room that I've chosen for the main group is C1 to DS. And I chose it for many different reasons. First, being that I really wanted to show some appreciation to those involved with the project and showcase it, because it wasn't a simple thing to just kind of bring the Creatures 1 environment into Creatures 3 and Docking Station. There's a lot of hard work that was put in, so I wanted to show this off. It's also a very large meta room, so these Norns shouldn't get too, they shouldn't really be crowded together as they kind of are down here. Not really crowded, but we kind of want to have some separation if we can. There's also a lot of food sources, which is a great thing for Norns to take care of themselves, especially since I've chosen a kind of inactive role, really letting nature take its course here to have a real wolfing run. And finally, I just love Creatures 1, so couldn't resist. So anyway, what we're going to be doing in a second is moving over the oldest Norn, who is Lamna right here. Going to be moving her to the C1 to DS meta room and seeing what happens. And again, this is going to show you the alpha-female determination, who it's going to be. And we'll get there in just a little bit. So I'm just going to open up my panel here, and we are going to resume, and let's see what happens. So we'll resume, let the Norns kind of do their things. I'm going to pick up Lamna if I can grab her with a shift and right click. There we go. And we're just going to scroll through. I know this is probably not the best way to move through the world, but here we are in C1 to DS, and you can see it looks just like it was. She seems to be pretty interested in this region. I'm thinking that I want to drop everybody in this area, and we'll just see what happens. I'm going to give her a little time to get acquainted with this world. Apparently, the way to get acquainted with it is to take a quick nap. That'll give us a chance real quick for me to just open up this info panel just to let you know that here's Lamna. She's a youth and she just turned 50 minutes old. So as we go through this, we might see a few females that might get to the adult stage. I really wanted to make sure that they had kind of had the chance to grow up on their own, enjoy life, things like that before they actually had to become mothers. So she's really enjoying that honey, and we'll see what she does. She can go and travel out to the garden if she wants to. It looks like she's traveling out that way a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is just, let her have her own way here, and we're going to move on and get our next Norn. So if we just, screen's going to fly over there. She is see it looking at the water there. She's never seen that before, so it's going to be pretty interesting. So the next Norn that we're going to move is Seon, the Magma Norn. So she's right down here. If I can grab just her out of the main group, pick her up. And again, this is my only involvement that I'm really going to be doing with these Norns. I really want to let them just kind of live on their own. So here we go. Drop her in just about the same spot and see if she wants something else to do. Well, Lamna just took a nap, but she's sleepy again. And so is Seon. So maybe they'll just enjoy a nice little nap in this region. I wanted to let them all kind of choose if they want to move around, explore the world, or just stay in the one area. So again, you'll notice the one thing with Seon right over here is the fact that she's a Magma Norn. She really craves a hot environment, so the really only hot environment is found in the desert terrarium where the Ettins are normally from. So she'll usually be shivering or expressing how cold she is all the time. She's kind of my pick for the alpha female, but we're going to leave that up to the male, who we'll meet in a little bit. So it looks like those two are pretty happy with where they are over here. Well, I don't know, Lambda's running away. She looks a little afraid, but we'll see if she can get used to this area. So we're going to pick up our next Norn, and that is going to be Oriana. She is the Bengal one right here, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe she is the only Norn who has yet to actually learn the language. So unfortunately, we won't be able to understand what she's actually saying, because she is talking in Norn language, which isn't always easy to understand, pretty much impossible. So we'll see if that maybe is it could be a disadvantage to her. She might not be able to actually converse with others, but we'll see what she's doing. So we'll see. There goes Seon. She's a little bit of an adventurer. She's traveling out into the garden area, it looks like. Whereas the other two kind of like the area. They might be a little afraid. The fireplace looks like a nice place for Lambda to enjoy another nap. She's a sleepy one. So I think we've given these three enough time to kind of get acquainted in here. Again, I was hoping for a little bit more adventuring and exploring, but you never can predict what Norns are going to do. So, our last female left in the Norn Meso is little Navoria here, who is also tired. These Norns share so much in common. So it looks like she wants that carrot. Oh, and another one. Let her have that, and I'm going to pick her up. And that's going to leave this area kind of abandoned for the time being. Not a bad thing. We need the everything to kind of grow back. Everybody ate everything up real fast. So we'll drop her off over here as well and see how she's doing. She grabbed that cheese right off the counter. And everybody looks like they're doing pretty well. They're enjoying themselves, I think. And it looks like they really like this one area. I guess there's no reason to really leave it when you've got all your food around. Why leave? So let's just see. We'll let them have their way for just a little bit. It's kind of nice to see them just enjoying themselves. I mean, at the best of times, Norns are always fun to watch, and I love just kind of interacting with them and even just watching them. But at the worst of times, it can be frustrating. It can be probably one of the most awful things to witness. So seeing them like this is kind of nice, taking care of themselves, and they all are pretty good at that. So the last Norn that we haven't talked about yet is our alpha male, who has been on his own in the Norn terrarium, and we're just going to transport over and take a look at him right now. And here he is, little Brenly, the zebra Norn. He has not traveled too far during life. He's kind of been alone here, moving back and forth, but he's got a lot of food sources. His best friend has been right over here, the Blue Intelligence Core, which is part of the portal pack that is available from the Creatures Community Spirit Festival 2011. That's from Ghost Hand, and again, I'll be including a link to that. And this is another portion of that pack. So we can see Brenly in here, and if we take a look at his information, we can see that he has become a youth. He's now fertile and able to breed. He's going to determine the alpha female, and that's going to be the first female that successfully lays an egg. So just before I move him over there, because this is where the excitement's going to come in, there's a lot of suspense now on who's going to be the alpha female. I'm just going to change the mark above his head. He's had a little blue sword. Just to indicate who the alpha male is, we're going to change that to a little crown. Just to kind of indicate that he's king of the land, he's the only male that's going to be having anything going on. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the game here for just a moment. And right there.